It finally happened. The walls came crashing down in Cleveland. For months, the Browns front office and their media allies have worked overtime to control the story, to sell fans on a fantasy that Dillon Gabriel was the future and that everything was under control. But all of that came undone in one single humiliating moment, caught live on a hot mic. What we're witnessing isn't just a bad season, it's a full-blown media meltdown. A civil war between the reporters who helped build the lie and the few voices who dared to question it. At the center of this chaos stand two quarterbacks, Dillon Gabriel, once hailed as the supercomputer, and Shedeur Sanders, the young star buried under months of narrative manipulation and unfair scrutiny. The same outlets that called Gabriel the future are now mocking him on camera. The same voices that labeled Shedeur as immature are suddenly silent as their credibility burns. This isn't just about football anymore. This is about pride, control, and exposure. The agenda that once held this city together is collapsing, and now the truth is spilling out for everyone to see. Because when you spend an entire season trying to manufacture a hero and bury the real one, the fallout is always brutal. And Cleveland? It just hit rock bottom. It started with one moment, a single hot mic that exposed everything. After another rough post-game press conference, Dillon Gabriel gave his usual answers and walked off. But the cameras kept rolling. What came next wasn't supposed to be heard. A reporter, allegedly Chris Easterling, was caught mocking Gabriel, repeating, "I'm taller than him." It wasn't analysis. It wasn't professional. It was petty, cruel, and personal. Within minutes, the clip exploded online. Fans were stunned, the locker room was furious, and the carefully built Cleveland narrative shattered. The media, who'd spent months defending Gabriel, were suddenly the villains of their own story. That one careless comment didn't just humiliate a player. It exposed the cracks in the system, the bias, the agenda, the arrogance. It was the moment Cleveland realized the story they'd been fed all season was never real in the first place. Then came the explosion that no one saw coming. A full-blown media civil war in Cleveland. Moments after the hot mic scandal went viral, Daryl Reuter from 92.3 The Fan went live and torched the entire Browns organization. His frustration wasn't scripted, it was raw. He called Dillon Gabriel's performance unwatchable and said yet every fan had been screaming for weeks that the Browns had hit rock bottom. The so-called supercomputer quarterback was malfunctioning. The offense was lifeless, and the front office had lost control. Even worse, this wasn't just about bad football anymore. This was about lies. The same media that hyped Gabriel as Cleveland's savior were now tearing him apart on air. The narrative they built was crumbling. And for the first time, insiders weren't protecting the team's image. They were exposing it. The mask was off, and the truth was finally out. Behind the headlines and press conferences, something far bigger has been brewing. A quiet campaign against Shedeur Sanders. For months, rumors have swirled that the Browns front office and local media were working hand in hand to protect their chosen project. Dillon Gabriel, while burying Shedeur before he ever got a chance. And now, the evidence is impossible to ignore. Kevin Stefanski himself admitted that Shedeur hasn't received a single first-team rep in practice, not one. That's not competition, that's sabotage. The team keeps preaching development, but how do you develop someone you refuse to let play? It's become clear that this isn't about football at all. It's about control, ego, and fear of being proven wrong. Because the second Shedeur gets on that field, the entire narrative collapses. And that's exactly what the people in charge are trying to prevent. The media's double standard couldn't be more obvious. When Shedeur Sanders got a speeding ticket before ever taking a snap, Cleveland's media went into a frenzy. Headlines called him reckless, entitled, and immature, the kind of player who didn't fit the Cleveland way. Every talk show, every blog, every outlet turned it into a character indictment. But just weeks later, when Myles Garrett, the face of the franchise, was caught driving just as fast, the reaction was completely different. No outrage, no finger-pointing, just a quiet, he'll learn from it. One was painted as a problem, the other as a leader who made a mistake. That's not coincidence. That's protection. The media wanted to tarnish Shedeur's name before he even stepped onto the field, while shielding their favorites from the same scrutiny. It wasn't about speeding. It was about control, narrative, and who they wanted the public to believe in. While the media tried to twist Shedeur Sanders' image into something negative, his real actions told a completely different story. Away from the noise, Shedeur was out in the community, visiting local Cleveland high schools, talking to young athletes and motivating kids who looked up to him. No cameras, no PR team, just genuine connection. He pulled up unannounced, shook hands, shared advice, and promised to bring a championship mindset to the city. That's not arrogance, that's leadership. But because he didn't fit their mold or play by their rules, the media ignored it. They were too busy pushing their narrative to notice the truth. Shedeur wasn't chasing attention. He was earning respect. While others hid behind excuses, he showed up where it mattered most, to the people. And that's exactly what makes him dangerous to a system built on control. Then came the moment that changed everything. The Tony Grossi confrontation. After a preseason game where Shedeur Sanders lit up the field, he walked off the podium and locked eyes with Cleveland's most powerful media. Most rookies would have stayed quiet, maybe smiled nervously, but not Shedeur. He walked right up to him, looked him dead in the eye, and said, "Tony, I be hoping you got something positive to say about me. You only say negative stuff, and I ain't done nothing to you." It wasn't angry, it was honest. The entire room froze. No one had ever challenged Grossi like that. Not publicly, not fearlessly. And in that moment, Shedeur proved something. He wasn't afraid to stand up to the system, trying to control his story. Grossi laughed it off, but everyone in that room knew what just happened. Shedeur broke the unspoken rule: never confront the media power structure. From that day forward, the agenda against him wasn't speculation. It was personal. The Browns are collapsing, not because of talent, but because of pride. The locker room is fractured. The fans are furious. And the organization is pretending everything's fine while the season burns around them. Myles Garrett is playing like a superstar, trapped in a nightmare, watching his prime wasted by an offense that can't score. Cameras caught him fuming on the sideline after another humiliating loss, yet the media spun it as leadership. Meanwhile, Kevin Stefanski refuses to bench Dillon Gabriel or even give Shedeur Sanders a fair shot. Instead of fixing the problem, the front office is obsessed with saving face. They'd rather protect their narrative than protect their team. And that's the real tragedy here. Ego over honesty. Politics over progress. The Browns didn't just lose games, they lost trust. And now the question isn't whether the season can be saved. It's how long Cleveland can keep pretending everything isn't falling apart.